WPTV.
Welcome back to the desk. The NBA All-Star break is approaching, and here to recap the trade deadline and the first half of the regular season, we have Justis, Jimmy, Andrew, and Danny. Wow, a lot of stuff went down during this trade deadline, gentlemen. Let's start with the Portland Trailblazers sending CJ McCollum to New Orleans. The Pelicans get another high-end player to pair with Zion and Brandon Ingram, Danny. But also, Damian Lillard's by himself now, and he's also probably hurt for the rest of the season. Danny, what do we see from this trade here?
Well, I see a lot of things, Samory. If we could take a look at CJ's stats, he's having a cool season by his standards. He's averaging 21 a game, 5 assists, player efficiency rating of 17.42, field goal percentage of 44, and he's shooting 38% from 3. From the Pelicans side of things, I guess it's a cool move. It's like a marginal move at best to like appease Zion. It's a cool little nucleus if they're fully healthy of Zion, BI, CJ, Valanciunas, etc. But it's like, compared to the other teams in the West, I don't know where they're stacking up, and I feel like it's a low ceiling. And then on the flip side for Portland, it's just like, man. I hope they're doing a rebuild, because if they're thinking of doing a retool, the front office is delusional and Dame is delusional.
Justis.
Yeah, I agree with Danny. I think this was a decent pickup for the Pelicans. I think pairing CJ McCollum with Brandon Ingram and hopefully Zion Williamson could possibly get them into the playoffs or the play-in. And as for Portland, yeah, this move was confusing. I heard reports that supposedly their plan is now to build around Damian Lillard, which is confusing because what the hell was their plan before? Building around like Rodney Hood or Yusuf Nurkic or something? I don't know. But yeah, I think this is a solid pickup for the Pelicans.
Andrew.
Yeah, I like the pickup for the Pelicans, but this move does not make any sense for the Trailblazers. I mean, Dame's 31. He's not getting any younger. He's voiced that he's not happy with what the front office is doing. It's time for Dame time to get out of there. I mean, it's rough in there.
Jimmy?
I like the move on paper for the Pelicans. They're still going to struggle defensively, even more so with McCollum on the floor, but he provides some more perimeter shooting. His contract might be a little troublesome, but like Danny said before, this can be a move to get Zion, hopefully more motivated to get back in their facility. He's been away from the team for like 6 weeks now, it's been reported. So if they can get Zion back and get that little nucleus going in the future, they can maybe reach some sort of contendership in the West.
Now, Jimmy, keeping it with you, we talked about Domantas Sabonis. We talked about Buddy Hield as well. A lot of players in this trade that we're about to talk about earlier on Sports Desk. We saw the Kings let Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield go for Domantas Sabonis. What do you think about this trade? What do you think about it?
I don't know what to think about it, but we're going to have to look at it really quick. A lot of confusion from my perspective. You see here, the Indiana Pacers receive young stud Tyrese Halliburton, shooter Buddy Hield, Tristan Thompson. The Kings, they love Domantas Sabonis. They love what they bring to their team. Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday, and a second-round pick. This really seems like a win-now move for the Kings for me, but the Kings don't do much winning. The old expression is the Kings are going to be the Kings. Well, in the NBA, that's not really a good expression. So when it comes to Domantas Sabonis, he got a little mid-range game. He can facilitate a little bit, but when you're getting rid of a young floor general like Halliburton, who's already ascending, that's a problem.
Justis?
Yeah, I agree with Jimmy. The Sacramento Kings got fleeced here. I know Domantas Sabonis is a solid player, but, I mean, they gave up way too much. Buddy Hield is also a solid player, but Tyrese Halliburton, man, that is the player that the Kings should have been focused on building around. I mean, look at his stats, 14.3 points per game, 7 assists per game, shooting 45% from the field, 1.7 steals per game, good two-way guard. Yeah, this was definitely a confusing move in my opinion, and I definitely think that they should have kept Tyrese Halliburton.
Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, we just moved from one confusing trade to the next confusing trade. I mean, I don't understand what the Kings are doing. I'm a huge De'Aaron Fox fan, so I've always wanted to see the Kings succeed. I was so happy when they got Halliburton. He was happy there. He was like, oh, yeah, I want to be here. I want to build around this team. They just trade him away. I don't understand it. The Kings they're a joke, man.
It's funny because you got King colors on, too.
I know, right? Shout out to the Kings.
Not really. They're
Not really, though. They kind of suck.
But Danny, go right ahead.
Honestly, Samory, this trade has me shaking my head. We're 4 for 4 in the negativity here. I don't know what the Kings are doing. Go from Sacramento to Seattle at this point after this trade. Because Tyrese is hooping right now. He's the younger of the two guards between De'Aaron and himself. And now he's averaging 21, 11, and 2 steals. And I'm very confused.
He's going to flourish in Indiana, I think. Now, the biggest trade we've seen so far this season, and probably is going to be the biggest one in the future, is we saw James Harden get traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Philadelphia 76ers for a lot of pieces. You can look at the trade now. The 76ers received James Harden and Paul Millsap, but the Brooklyn Nets received Ben Simmons, who has not played this season yet, hasn't practiced either, Seth Curry, who's actually been playing pretty well for them, Andre Drummond, who may help them in the future, and 2 first-round picks. I don't have much to say about this because I'm going to pass it off to our local Net fan.
Okay.
Sir Gregg, what do you have to say about this?
First off, I want to say that This trade could potentially be great for both sides. I think that James Harden does make Philadelphia a real contender now. And as for the Nets, I think they're more well-rounded now as well. I think we needed someone, to stay in the paint like Andre Drummond. We got another shooter in Seth Curry. And, Ben Simmons defensively is very solid.
You have to make that note, defensively.
Now, James Harden. Let's take it back to last year's playoffs when he was hurt with a hamstring injury. Kyrie Irving went down. Kevin Durant dragged that man to the second round, almost beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Then in the beginning of this season, everyone on this desk was slandering James Harden, besides me, because he was recording record low shooting numbers, not playing well, and Kevin Durant still dragged him to the top of the East. James Harden couldn't handle 1 month by himself, and he quit on the Nets. I don't want to sound bitter. That's a pretty weak move in my book, but we'll see if he gets his championship now in Philly.
Danny, will he get that championship in Philly?
Oh, that is tough, Samory. It's tough to see because I feel like on paper, like Justis said, I feel like both sides can benefit from it. The Nets get shooting, defense, rebounding in Drummond, Seth, and Ben. And then the flip side, I feel like the two-man game between Harden and Embiid can be something special, but Embiid may take a dip in the MVP voting.
Jimmy, quickly.
There's just so much pressure now in Philadelphia now. They're going to become the Philadelphia Rockets. I mean, Daryl Morey's there, Harden's there now. You're already talking about top 15 coach in the NBA history, Doc Rivers. I digress on that note. But he's got pressure on him now. They're already talking about possibly bringing in Mike D'Antoni for next year. So the Sixers really have to get it done. You ship off Simmons the way that they did. It's a tough scenario in Philly.
Andrew, very quickly.
I was very excited to see this trade. I mean, always nice to see a Nets fan upset, of course, because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm really excited to watch the Harden and Embiid pick and roll, and I think Ben Simmons he's going to come back and he's going to be good.
Now, going from the East to the West, 2 teams have been at the top of the Western Conference the whole season. The team that was in the NBA Finals last year, the Phoenix Suns, and a team that's been in the NBA Finals countless of times, the Golden State Warriors. Andrew, we'll go to you first. Out of these 2 teams, who are you picking to win the West?
Well, there's only one pair of Splash Bros in the NBA, so give me those guys. Give me the Golden State Warriors. They're second in the West right now. Draymond's coming back after the All-Star break. Hopefully James Wiseman comes back. They're gone.
Danny?
I'm going to have to agree with Andrew here. I'm going to go with the Warriors. Honestly, both teams are elite offensively and defensively. I just feel like the Warriors' ceiling is so much higher because of the amount of injuries they have, and they're still producing some wins.
Jimmy?
Well, since KD left, the Warriors really haven't been able to hit their stride because they've had so many injuries. I'm going to take the Warriors just because I like their experience. The Suns made it on a run last year, but Chris Paul's never really been able to get over that hump. So with the Warriors, if Draymond come back healthy, he's going to make a big difference. Give me the Warriors.
Justis, close us out.
Give me the Phoenix Suns. I think that Steph Curry had a really hot start of the season, but he's cooled off since then. I think the Phoenix Suns have learned from their mistakes from last year's playoffs. Give me Phoenix Suns, Brooklyn Nets in the finals.
Of course you would say that. That's like me saying the Lakers are going to get to the finals. It's not going to happen.
But
Knicks
this one's
are going to the
realistic, though,
finals too,
Samory.
bro.
Okay, see, now we're just playing games.
Everybody's just chatting. But guess what? Don't forget to follow us at SportsSWP on Twitter and Instagram for updates and more. We'd like to give a special thank you to all the cast and crew that came out today, and a big shout out to the tallest man in the room, Al Clarke. From Studio B in Hamilton Hall, and for everyone here at the desk, I'm Samory Rose, and we'll see you guys next time.